I'm speaking to Fred Robertson, the Executive Chairman of Brimstone. Thanks very much for your time. Take you back to 1995 when you and Mustek Bray started Brimstone and you raised money from the community that you were living in.
I say thank you to the community support, obviously, support of the media as well, because I think without them we wouldn't have been able to tell our story out there. But you're correct, we raised our money in our communities. But Mustek and I very early consulted with people about starting a business such as this, a publicly owned business, broadly owned. And my previous chairman, Jake Scherwel, gave us some very good pointers. He says, guys, go out and make profit first. Yeah, coming from a sort of, I think, a committed communist like Jake Scherwel, but also intellectually it was a very, very good pointer. We've been passionate about business, but you've got to be profitable before you can.
Once you are profitable, is it extensively about giving back to the community that you came from?
I think it's actually about putting it into the DNA of your business. Profitability, empowerment, and having a positive social impact. It's got to go together. And that's the mantra I've been beating for close to 20 years. Next year we'll be 20 years old. It's about profitability, empowerment, and positive social impact to make sure, if you want to make sure that your business is sustainable, you can't just focus on short-term profits. You've got to focus on profitability over the long term, and you can't just be thinking of shareholders. You've got to be thinking of all stakeholders. Your workers are stakeholders in your business. Your community are stakeholders in your business. So we have been fortunately been allowed in this new South Africa, having the advantage of black economic empowerment and beating the drum of broad-based black economic empowerment rather than just empowerment for a few.
And I'm glad you added that, the broad-based black economic empowerment, because we need to ask you the tough question. Do you believe that BEE is working?
Well, certainly, in our case, I think it has. I think that our shareholders could hardly afford to invest the kind of money that they did at that time. We allowed them to invest money on a monthly basis. So for our shareholders, it's been a significant return.
In your case, it's working, Fred. What about in the rest of South Africa?
Well, let me talk about my case, because I think not to blow my own horn, but rather to say that we are an example of what can be done. We have 25 community NGOs. We have 25 NGOs who are shareholders in our company. These shareholders, when we pay out a dividend, these are fully paid shares. When we pay out a dividend, those dividends go through to about 3 million beneficiaries. It goes to the poorest of the poor in the communities, whether it's people and the most marginalized. And Mustek and I and a few of the executives back at Brimstone are thinking about how do we broaden this? How do we put between 10 and 15% of our equity in the hands of the poorest of the poor, of the most marginalized, of people who are working in the communities, whether it's in early childhood education, whether it's in HIV projects, whether it's in child-headed families, League of the Friends of the Blind, cancer-riddled patients, home-based care, universities. It excites us because we believe, because we've been empowered to do business, we've got to empower our communities. We've got to empower our shareholders as well.
Do you think that there are a number of BEE deals in South Africa that are going to be redone? Is that the next wave we're going to see?
If it's not, it should be. I think that most corporates are conscious of the fact now that it should be a lot broader. It's not sustainable. The way business has evolved and developed in South Africa over the last 20 years, it's unfortunate that it has, but there's a big divide between poor and rich. And those of us who have the power to change, those of us who are in business leadership positions, we must lead from where we are, and we must bring a change that we desire, the change that Nelson Mandela and that leadership of the ANC came in and made our life a better life in South Africa. It's our chance and our opportunity to change as well the lives of those less fortunate.
Do you think that South Africa is going to see its way clear through the current turmoil that we are experiencing? The inequality, I'm talking about unemployment at 25.4%, formal unemployment, youth unemployment way higher than that. Do you think we're going to see our way clear?
I think that South Africans are resilient. I think that we have the most wonderful constitution. I think that we have a democracy that works. We are highly critical sometimes of a number of things that's happening in our society. But generally, we're good people, and we've got to focus on that. And we've got to focus, and we are a winning nation, and we've got to make it a winning nation for all. We've got to spread the circle and broaden the circle of benefit so that all can be beneficiaries of this wonderful democracy. And as I say, we can't just look at government, at labor, at business. We've all got to lead from where we are.
It has to be a community effort.
It has to be individual and community.